Sorry, folks, running slightly late there. Just had an offer on my house in London, so that's good news. We said yesterday, hopefully they made an offer. They did. I've accepted. So just had to sort that out first. Okay. Let's get into it. Daily. As you can see, we're into this fat old node here. All right, so here's the big node. I was very surprised yesterday. There was absolutely no reaction off this node. It was as if this volume has never existed at all, which is incredible. You can't really prepare for a day like yesterday much when they just want to keep going up and we get into a positive gamma squeeze. It is what it is. And we try not to fade it, and we try and be careful when we do fade it, and then we look to buy dips, and the dips never came in. All right, so today we're opening up right into this range. All right, so we're going to watch 30,000, 30,100 because you can see we have an LVN up here. All right, that's the start of the LVN. Now, if we break through 30,000, 30,100, we now have Bollinger Bands opening up, and they have room to go. All right, what I would expect to happen, all right, is the market to come into here and get a bit stuffed and come back down, and I'd expect us to build out a range here for 1 to 2 sessions, all right, and maybe then a break lower, which is reabsorbed to go higher. Might not get it, all right, we might not get it. It might be that this market is just in a hurry because ES is in price discovery. The higher that goes, the more strength we're going to have. So we're going to watch this 30,000, 30,100 to see if and how we react there. Now, when we look on the hourlies, you're going to see what I'm looking at. Let's move this down so it's out of your way. There we go. All right, this right here, we're watching these highs from Friday the 10th and Wednesday the 15th. I expect those to get swept. All right, I would assume it would be today, maybe not, and we've got another one here. All right, so that the LVN is actually just above that. So we were thick, thin, 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 and the yearly LVN is just above. So I'm going to watch for a poke up through these levels and to see for 2 things. Are we going to see failure back down to value? All right, remember, previous day's value is here. All right, and then at value, are they going to rebid out for a higher move? Or are we going to come back down to value, lose value, and wash back down towards previous day point of control and try and bid out from there? Or are they going to rotate the whole thing back down to this structure? Now, I think at some point in the next 2 to 3 sessions, we'll come back and test this. I pray we do, because if we don't, I'm going to be sat here waiting to get long, even more long in my swings without finding anything. So we'll see. So that's what I'm watching for today, folks. I'm looking for that move into 30,000 to 30,100, and then just waiting to see what we do. All right, it's very simple. Do we find acceptance, or is it a stuff and move back to value? Do we find acceptance, or is it a rotation then? All right, so above value, if we think about this morning, we're migrating value higher. All right, we're opening up above previous day's value. We're opening up above previous day's close. We're above the yearly value line. Everything's pretty bullish, but structure, all right, other than the overnight structure, which we've built, which is in a gentle grind higher, there isn't much, is there? Especially, I'd say, from these 2:30 breaks. All right, once we started going at 9 a.m. yesterday, we never looked back. So this probably gets repaired or partially repaired at some point. It doesn't have to be today. So that's what I'm looking for. When we think about the GEX, all right, we're in a positive gamma day, but not a positive squeeze gamma day, all right, because we now have new levels in. So we can see, we talked about 30,100. This is our neutral zone, all right? Negative gamma would be under 500. This is my target for short today if we do get down there. Positive gamma zone would be above here. So we'll see if we can get into 130s. If we fail that, back to neutral point. If we fail neutral point, back to P1, which is point of control. So that lines up nice. And we're looking to see if we grab a bid there and come back up. That's what I'm looking for, some kind of variation of that. Maybe it does this first this morning. Maybe it just comes and sweeps overnight and goes. I don't know, folks. We're just going to have to pay attention to what happens on the tape. But what I do know is I'm not going to be a buyer up here unless we reset and hold. And I'm not going to buy the way down unless we pin down and hold and pivot back up. All right, so I'm more interested in sort of fading this back in on pushes this morning which fail, and then we go from there. Okay, let's have a look at some of the other markets. I'm going to have to get a bit of a move on here, folks. I might not be able to go over all the names. All right, ES breaking out, new all-time highs. All right, if we just look at this on a daily, All right, big shove up, big breakout. All right, you can see the next gamma level 825. This is what they're gunning for at the moment. Remember, we're in price discovery. If we pull this back and we think about where we can go, in fact, let's go to a daily to do it. All right, if we think about this consolidation range, we actually have pretty good room here. All right, for more upside in general. Based in 740. Let's take us to the most recent swing that did it. All right, we're coming right into there. So I would imagine, now you can see this 161 lines up with the gamma. I'd imagine we get stuck up here soon. All right, it's still very healthy. This is still a healthy pullback, and then we can bid back out again, unless it's a blow off top, which at the moment there's nothing suggesting that is. I see lots of people talking about it, and there's nothing to suggest this is a blow off top right now. This is suggesting major rotation. All right, spiders, if you're watching the spiders, same thing. All right, coming into key levels. All right, they're just printing more and more upside. It's just about how high can it drift. 780 is your final target. You want to hold bids over 771, 770 today. You lose that, and we come and back test some of this. Again, this is awful. All right, there is no structure in here. That structure, right? So if they come down here and they reclaim, they do this, it's very bullish. If they get stuck at that, then we can start repricing some of these. All right, same kind of story on Qs. All right, exactly the same. Structure built out, looks good. All right, upside drift possible. We start losing this structure unless they dip and reclaim, then a reprice is possible. We want to be very careful of that. Okay, crude. Starting to find a little bit of bid here because we've heard out this morning that there's been problems, not necessarily between America, but apparently there's some threats going on in some of the straits. So, you know, does it see this, or are we going to see continued breakdown under here? You can set price alerts, right, under here, under 74s, then weakness in here will help the market get going. VIX continues to climb. This is a concern for me. For everyone looking for more upside, right? This is what I was talking about yesterday. This is incredibly unhealthy. This is the start of the hedge, and this is a breakout of this pivot, all right? Really, the market should be not really heading too much more upside, but we'll see. We don't need to be really concerned until we get up here. If we start getting up here and the market is continuing to move higher, I'm going to call a Fugazi, and there's a big crack coming. All right, so we'll see. We're into this neutral point here. If we're going to have more upside, you want VIX to come down here this morning. We're not seeing that so far. Dixie, all right, is still failing. We move out. All right, failing this key level. Coming back downside pressure with oil. All right, so unless it can reclaim that, this will be a fail break and a move back down. All right, we do have the ability to hold this ledge here, so maybe this is another trap. We will see. There's lots of variations available right now, but we'll see. Right now, this is looking like a fail break to move higher, fail to hold pivot, can back test and move lower. That's great for the market in general. All right, mags gapping up, looks strong. All right, looks strong right now. There's your gap and go so far. So we'll see how we open up this morning. I'll be watching to see if they hold these key pivots. 68, 74, 75, and then 67, 50. If we look at the Soxal, right, we're weak. All right, we are weaker. Nvidia doing very well. We're starting to get into a stock pickers market now. So AMD getting hammered, both off the capex spend last night on earnings. Earnings were good, but the capex spend, like, I don't know, tripled, quadrupled, absolutely insane. And then Musk came out saying, I'm only going to buy chips from NVIDIA because they're the best. Okay, so AMD got punished for that. So we'll see. Do we see weakness with AMD this morning and MU and people like that follow? Or are we going to have a stock pickers market where we might go like this because within this sector, some get sold, some get bought? Or are we going to see them just bid AMD out and just be like, we don't care, we're strong as a sector, we're going? I don't know, folks. We're going to have to see. Semis, so semis sort of gapping down in neutral, and look who is continuing to move higher. All right, software on a ripper. All right, this is great for our swings. All right, this is mainly led by Microsoft and guys like that, but this thing continues to lift, which is great for us. So we're going to just look for continued upside pressure here. We expect a pullback. Our targets, all right, we're through TP1. All right, our targets are up here right now. We'd like pullbacks to hold and then go again. And if we can go risk on, right, in the, God, can we draw that? In the SOX and the MAGs and IGV, God, I can't even draw it. Then the market will look very good into Q4. All right, individual names. Let's see where we're at. Apple opening up flat here, basing out. So here's the range post earnings. Right, you got to wait for that break and hold. Otherwise, we're flat and neutral in it. Amazon, right, peeling back yesterday after a gigantic push into its key pivot. All right, is Amazon willing to hold this? This is starting to look better. Like I said, I'm interested in buys down here. If we start to hold here, then I'll add some more size in. I'm net long Amazon and up very, very nicely on it, about almost 30% now or something. So we'll see if I can get some more size on if it's willing to hold. Goog, same kind of story here. All right, nice shove up, gapping up now. Look at that turnaround. Amazing on Goog. Never got the fill. All right, looks good. There's your shove up. Fantastic hold there from Goog. Nice gap up here on Goog. So we'll see mag strength. Meta continuing to push higher here. All right, we'll see if we can come and reset this a little bit. Again, very similar to Goog. There's your inverted head and shoulders, little pivot hold. All right, can they hold the neckline here? If they can, you know where they're going. If they fail the neckline, back into range with a fail break. Microsoft, same kind of story, exactly the same pattern, gapping up, pulling back in just before market open here. So we'll see. Nvidia should be strong. Yes, there's the strength in Nvidia off Musk's comments. All right, so this is the after hours. That's off Musk comments, sideways, and we can go back upside now. And this looks very, very different to how it did a few days ago. All right, where we were back into this range. We've now held this range with a big W pattern. All right, and I'd say PE ratio on this is cheap. So if they're willing to hold bids now, Nvidia can really get going out of this. It's done a good job here. So that's a pretty good job here. Tesla, still a long way to recover off earnings. Just going sideways at the moment. All right, so that has us covered for the day, folks. Remember, we're going to be watching for this morning shove up. These batteries dying on me. Yeah. Morning shove up and then to see what we do. Pull this down. Good luck, everybody. My copy seems to have gone. We'll see. Says I've got two of them open. Definitely don't. All right, there's a 30,000 test. See if we can lift this higher first. Sorry, folks, if I look a little distracted here. My copier has disappeared. Get a chart up. Here we go for the shove. Let's get some volume on. Lots of buyers coming in here. Hopefully they can keep squeezing higher. Can we get copier working? Do you want to work for me today, copier? There we go. pushing stuff so far. Waiting for this to move higher first if possible. All right. VIX continuing to grind out here. Semi's not quite closing the gap, but they're trying. Just going to let this settle down for a minute. I doubt that we don't take those highs, so we're just going to be patient and wait for that to come in. Here they come. Washing machine action here. Just being patient here for this morning, folks. Not in a rush. Let's do what it needs to do. All right, hopefully we can come up to these 100s and get going for the day. All right, let's see. Still waiting for this to lift. Nothing to do yet. We have not swiped any liquidity yet. And these highs are all in this red box. So I'd like to see it come up here and swipe everyone out and then make a decision. Yes, pushing up to its cool wall, which is 7625 right now. Remind myself what's the expected move today. Pre-market 30,300 based on this morning 30,300. End of day yesterday 30,360. So 360 is possible today. We should be up here. Okay, cool. So we already get a level in for it. I'm gonna just change this to purple so I know it's also the expected move. That comes all the way up to 360 as a max. So we do a huge thing up here. Okay. Here it comes, the squeeze, and we'll see how high this can come now. Nothing yet for me, just being patient here this morning. I want to see it swipe that liquidity and make a decision. Once it's done it, see if we're going to go an expansion or a mean reversion kind of day. Liquidity is basically resting at 30,080 to 30,094-ish. This up. Those are where all the stops are, all the swing stops. ES can't really get going this morning. It's back to New York Open again. Stuck again there. I would really like this to come higher before it moves lower here. And this is quite a drastic move. Look at that. Stuffed. We'll see how we come back into 29,960s now. If we return into there and get hit or not. There is significant buying at the highs on that last push. I would much rather this comes out to 30,100 first. But if we come and stuff 60s, I'm interested. This is the reset of VWAP here. And we'll just see if we can come up here a bit. Let's my leader? 10. Well, copier isn't working. Great. 50 10s. Copier don't want to work. That's going to be a pain for me today. All right, waiting for a retest here at 960 and then see if they want to sell it or not. Still no entry for me yet. Okay, if they get through 960, then they're going to go for the original push up here, which is what we'd like to see them do. There we go. Okay, much better. So let's hope they can come up here. Still no entry for me. I'm not going to be long in this. I want to see if we can clear all this out and then make a decision, like I've said all morning. Back to these buyers at highs. Stuck inside current value here. They just tried to stuff it again there. Down to previous high. They're trying to base on previous day high now. And that's failure of New York Open. Back into value. Rotation continuing. Still nothing to do here right now. Mag coming back down to previous day highs, trying to find a bid. Semi's coming back down to New York Open, trying to find a bid. VIX is really pushing to the upside here. So it's more of a risk-off profile, but we're not seeing any follow-through to the downside right now, and we haven't cleared out any of the liquidity, which makes me think we probably want to go higher before we come lower right now. Here it comes to try and go higher. Stuffed up there again. This is quite clearly a story that this needs to clear out the highs before it does anything else. And we are just going to have to be very patient and let it come and clear this, all this stuff out, and then make a decision like we talked about pre-market, exactly the same. So just the 330k and then wafts around. Well, you have to also understand, Joe, like who wants to buy up here, right? So for it to move higher, it's got to trap some lower time frame shorts in right now to go and get this clear out, which it's now trying to do. And the top of this clear out is all the way up here. All right, it's very, very extended move up. We've built out some liquidity overnight. I expect us to come and take out sort of 30,100 kind of level and then make a decision. And then really it's a question of, are we going to base over 30,000 to get to 33s, or is it pop and fail? It's really that simple. And you'd imagine, even if you were bullish for this move up from the last, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sessions, you'd be selling some into here, wouldn't you, if you had any smarts about you at all? All right, VIX, new hive day again, 17.5. This thing continuing to break higher. Semi's going absolutely nowhere. They're trying to base over pre-market. They can't get through PDC. They can't get over under New York Open. Mag flushed down to previous day high, caught a bid, come back to VWAP, still doing nothing. I want this to clear out and then see if we fail or base. It's very simple. And we have news coming up here in 4 minutes as well. And then 10 o'clock as well. So we might just be waiting for that. ES trying to get up to that 25 mark, 8 to 25. That's its big cool wall up there. Come on, market, come clear out, and then we can make a decision. Patient, 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 patient. We're watching these H1s. Remember, this is what we're watching right now. Right, we're just looking to see if we can clear this out. And then what are we going to do? We're going to base, or we're going to do one of these, or we're going to come under all of this. $100 monthly value area high from previous month, you mean? I mean, it can't be current month. We're only just opened, but from previous month, yeah. There's a lot of resting up there. So, and then the node from there. Let me just check that daily again. Is up to 182s, right? So we get thin from 80 to 182. So there's about 100-point low volume node over this 80s. So these are like the wicks, but I expect us to get through here and then see if we stuff over it. All right, semis just caught a bid. All right, so they're back to PDC now. MAG starting to sell back down. So the rotation starting this morning already. All right, semis caught a big, MAG selling down, IGV trying to hold the bid. All right, the rotation has started. And we'll watch semis into previous day high here as they start to get going. And if they break that, they're going to look for 150s today. We're right into these levels up here. I want to see this get over it. I want to see it get over it to make a decision. Nice and patient. Aircon's come on, let me turn this off. All right, here it goes. This is good. This is what we want to see. Once we get up here, we can start thinking about what this market's intentions are. Guys, you need to be patient. Some of you have been like, it's giving no entry. It's been 15 minutes. Relax, relax, everyone. Every day I have to tell you this, right? Relax. News is just starting to hit the tape now. Relax. All right, just relax yourselves. It's still early in the session. There's a whole day ahead of you. There's a whole week ahead of you. Chill out. Trying to click buttons on the open for 15 minutes. Just relax yourselves. What was the print there? 54.6 versus 53, so slightly hot. And composite hot. Okay, sellers coming in here at 24s, being absorbed right now. 30,000 24s. At the moment, we've had a lot of selling from sort of 10s to 24s at the moment. ES just flushed right down to opening to New York low, found a bid back to New York open. It's a bit of a washing machine out here. Semis continuing to drive through the 140s now, approaching previous day high and Globex high. And if they get through that, they're going to look for 150. So we've got sector rotation. MAG back down towards low of day right now and previous day high. This is all about what happens on this rotation. Do they keep bidding semis and selling MAG? If so, do we go sideways? Or are we going to see a fail break from semis and sell MAG and semis? Or are we going to find a bid start to develop in these? this up as we start to get through it to here. And I'm expecting it to move over this, remember, potentially up to 180. Here come the big buyers. All right, there's semis at previous day high. There's mag finding a bid at previous day high. So semis driving into it, mag already over it, trying to hold it, but at lower day. ES just doing the chop here inside its opening orb, both on the 5 and the 15. It can't break out. It is stuck on the ES right now. It probably wants to try and get up to 825s, but it's struggling so far. Here we go. Almost there. Almost at this top side now. So we've now swept the 15th. We're coming into the 12th. And then after that, we have to come to Monday the 6th. And then over that, we're thin from 80 to 180. There's a LVN there. And I expect sellers to be hanging out there. And if they're not hanging out there, then the move to 300 is possible. I'm still bullish on all time frames right now. But I imagine there's a pop up here, a swipe, and then pull back, and then we'll make the decision of if there's going to be failures today for a move back to previous day value area high, or if they're going to hold 30,000 and continue to bid up. And I'm happy to play either. I'm just waiting for the first part of the move to happen so we can make some smarter decisions. All right, ES weak back down to current day's low. NQ at day's high. Semis breaking out of Globex session here, trying to get up to 150. New low of day on the mag, so you can see the rotation. All right, bid, heaviness, and NQ now going higher. It's back to a semiconductor market again. All right, there's the first reaction. Back to point of control, 30,000 here. Now, I will be interested in sell side, ideally after we sweep and not before. ES starting to crack here. Semis still basing over previous day high. I still expect this to move higher at the moment because semis are not giving back. They have swept Globex. Now, if they come under previous day high, it will perk my interest. It will not be a nice trade given that we left them protected from Monday the 6th. And we missed that 80s high by what? 8 points or something? 6 points. But I'll be interested. Still think this would be better if it swipes out all the highs and then fails. Hopefully they can bid this back up, because it would be a much better entry for us if they are willing to take out highs here. Good. Hopefully they can keep going here. If they stuff value here, it's going to be a problem, but I would really like them to keep this moving higher first. I'm not long in any of this. It's not a good long position for me, even though I understand what it wants to do. The RR just isn't there. I'd much rather wait and get short if we can clear out. All right, mag coming back down to fill its gap. So weakness in ES, weakness in the mag. Semis coming back under previous day high. We will have to watch this if semis start to lose the bid here after a failed break. Again, I'd much rather a swipe of 80 first, but if we start to get stuck here into 40s, I will consider it. It's not ideal. News at 10? Yeah, there is news at 10. All right, ES starting to try and recover its opening range. That's ES's first retest of opening range here. Now, all the big buying took place in the 80s. If we move under that New York Open, I'll be forced to join. It's really not ideal. It means we've left a lot of liquidity up here, which makes me think we'll come back for it. So this, even if we come back, this would be a pullback, which probably gets absorbed on previous day's value. All right, ES back to its opening range, back inside its opening range. Let's hope this can move higher. It would be much better if we can move higher here. It's better for every trade setup here if we can move higher. Semis under previous day high, rechecking PDC 140 now. We'd like them to bid that. What I'm looking for is a break of this and then failure, and then offering this trade down here for the best possible RR. That would be TP1, and if we come under that, we'll pay attention to 700, but really would be looking for 5s. So that's what I'm looking for. If we get over here and hold, then I'm looking for that. That's why I'm trying to wait right now. Yeah, VIX came back in, just broke out well through the 17s, coming back down for a moment. We'll see. They're just washing all this around. It's back down to a pivot here on a VIX where it can find a bid, but we'll see. So at the moment, MAG with a failed break of opening range back inside. SPY back to VWAP. Huge relative strength this morning. Heaviness here. Back to New York Open, back to where all those buyers were earlier. There's a lot of selling keeps starting to happen in front and around 30,000 here. They're still being absorbed by now for now, but the last 5 minutes we've started trying to sell that level. No acceptance lower. So if they can trap these sellers under 30,000, then they've got them to be used to try and get higher, which is what they're trying to do now. There was huge selling down there and all got absorbed. You saw 30,000, 122 lot, and the low of that, like intermediate low, we had another 100 lot added. So if they hold over 30,000 now, they should really come for 30,000 80s. It's 30,000 is going to be key. I'm not in this long. I'm not interested. I could keep saying I'd want to wait for the swipe and clear out first before I think about anything else. Holding 30s. Mag's trying to get back inside PDH. Didn't quite fill its gap, got close. Came into its cool wall too. And gap fill. Found a bid. Back to PDH right now. Might need to wait for the 10 a.m. to make a decision. Hopefully it can move higher. It's just a much better setup all round. If they move higher, if they leave that liquidity, it's pretty terrible, to be quite honest with you. Tape's moving fast here. Feels like news has just hit the blotter there. That's a big reaction down there. I'd say down here on the last 2 bars, look, all this selling and we're not moving lower. All right, and this is where the buying came in this morning. Aggressive buying, we're holding against that. Now, if we start to lose value, these buyers are going to become trapped and we're going to move lower. I still think we want to move up here at the moment, but we will see, folks. If they don't take the liquidity, it's going to be a typical NQ of being a dirty bugger and leaving it all there. YM, yeah, strength in industrials. We saw the same yesterday, a gap and go yesterday. Alex, yesterday at 4:15, the market gap 40 points. Is that normal? Well, you had earnings. So what happens after 4 o'clock? No one's on the tape. So you got a thin tape and you had earnings. You had earnings on SpaceX and on AMD. And they both pushed and failed. Right? So yes, it's very normal on earnings. That's why you need to be cognizant of what's happening in the markets. Is there earnings? Is there news? Is the tape thin? What's the expected move of the earnings? Right, still 130,000. Look, this range is getting very tight. Value area for today. I still am expecting higher prices here because we've left all that liquidity. Doesn't mean it has to do it, but I'm expecting them to try and get up into it. Good recovery from ES here. I would imagine now they use those last 5 to 10 minutes sellers under 30,000 that I just showed you to move higher. I imagine that's what they're going to attempt to do. Certainly looks like it right now. Here it goes. All right, now we should come and clear out 80. And from 80 to 180, I'm interested in what the reaction is. I'm not going to just short it. I'm interested in what the reaction is. Do we see a blowout of the stops with breakout buyers come in, and then do we fail to hold a level? If the answer to that is yes, I'll be thinking of shorts. Do we see a blowout of the stops, a pullback, and a hold of the level? If the answer to that is yes, I'll be looking for a long. I'd much prefer to be short. I think it's a better trade here in general once we break out. So good absorption, sub 30. Here's the move up. If you decided to trade that long, I would be trimming some top side of this, and then hopefully it holds over value for you, and you can keep pushing for 30,080 and above. Still nothing for me yet. Just waiting. I have my plan. I'm waiting for my plan to come in. News coming here any second now, folks. Just be aware of it. Up to the 30,000s. More selling coming into 30,000. Exactly where they were 5 minutes ago. If they get under this and New York Open, things change a little bit. This is the same level they've been absorbing at. Then they go trying to absorb it again down here. Failure to take any high there on any market. We're back to these 140s on semis. These are the over-unders now on semis. Another absorption down there again, same level. Sub 30,000, exactly the same as before. Sub 30,000, all this sell pressure being absorbed so far. Back into them again, absorption there again. They're stacking down to 62s right now. I'd say if they lose 62s, some selling will start to take control of the New York session at least. But we, again, I would expect them to keep trying to hold this to move up to highs at the moment. Here's New York Open, right? This will perk my interest if we start to fail here now. There's previous day high. If we start to fail value here and New York Open, I will consider the short. It's really not the best short because we have not cleared out the high. So we've left low hanging fruit higher, which is what I want to avoid really, but we'll see. These pops start to fail here, I'm interested. We need to lift a little bit here, not just straight failure. There's VWAP. Oh, NQ. Good old NQ leaving highs. All right, here's the opening range. I want to be short in this at the moment, but We need a lift, ideally back towards 60. This is the opening range and low of day here. ES into VWAP as well. Hopefully we can bid off this and come back and retest 60 to 30,000 for a sell. If they reclaim all that level, then again, I'm going to assume we're going to highs again. Please lift a bit. Please lift a bit. I want to retest to some of these before we move lower. And then I'm expecting a value retest. All right, so if we do this, I'm looking for this move here for TP1. This is TP1. Under that, we can think about 700 and 500. If they reclaim this, it's a failure, undervalue, and then this is still viable. I would like a lift up here to sell into, please, market. Where's my New York view up? Oh, it's up there. Okay. All right, watching this into previous day high, all the way up to 30,000. If buyers get exuberant and get stuffed, if we just reclaim, there'd be no trade. There's previous day high check. Here comes the big buying. Yes, going view up to view up. Nothing yet. If they don't stuff this and they reclaim, then expect new highs because we left that resting liquidity, remember. It's New York open. This is value area low on the session. This is the key level. Selling coming in here. All right, I'm short. Small size, risking New York open. If we trade through that, then I'm going to assume we're going to go back into point of control and lift through value. We need to break low of day here, and then we're looking for first covers down into 840s if possible. If they reclaim New York open, I'll be out. And basically a scratch and risking 10 points or something. But it's not the ideal short because they've left that H1 liquidity higher. All right, that's my scratch. Let's see here. Back to POC. I'm not going to short this into POC. Not right now. I still think then their target is still this. And they're just ranging it. And we're failing both sides of current value. All right, failing this, failing this. Sellers came in here, finally got the crack. Reclaimed here, no continuation down to this, no retest of this yet, no retest of up here. Build out continues. So scratch on that, and we'll see. That's point of control rejection, but we're now back inside value again. This is a bit of a washing machine this morning. It's going to require a lot of patience. We haven't broken outside the opening range yet. Mag back to previous day high, so still hasn't closed its gap. Semis under PDC and PDH now, but not under the New York Open, but they are under 140 pressure here. Oh, that's POC rejection back to previous day high again. And bidding previous day high again. All they need to do for this trade to be good today is come and break this red box at the high. And then we're going to have both sides of the trade become much more available. That's all we have to wait for. But I just felt like NQ wasn't going to do it. It was going to do the typical NQ thing of leaving it alone. And we're now back to POC. So everything's flat here as well. VWAPs are flat. EMAs are flat. POC is right at the New York VWAP. This is the third drive on the H1, and we just want a nice big wick high and failure. That's all we need. No tea this morning? No, not yet. I'll have some in a bit. Man, I hope that sale on the house goes through. That would be... nice. Getting patient here, folks. Hopefully we take out these highs. Semis back to PDC. The rotation continuing. MAG can't move back through previous day high. Just got stuffed into that at the moment. If I give you a readout on the MAG, the big strong one in the MAG is NVIDIA, right? So Tesla 0.26% down. NVIDIA 4.61% up with the semiconductors. All right. Semis are split because where NVIDIA's bidding, AMD is 5% down. All right, so understand that it's a stock pickers market right now. Microsoft 0.91% down, Meta 0.95% up, Google just under 0.5% up, Amazon just over 1/3% down, Apple just over 0.5% down. All right, so we are not in alignment within the MAG, and we're not in alignment within the SOX either, or within SMH, whatever you want to look at. And our software looking good, 0.5% up on the day again. Our swings are absolutely printing here. They look great. We'll see if Softy and Amazon can come in a bit. We will rebid some of it. Failure up there again. Back down to this same New York Open level again. Back down to value and previous day high again. And absorbed there again. And the washing machine continues. You're going to require patience today. If you're not a patience player and you don't have proper stop management, you're going to get chopped up today. All right, I would like to see this come up here and make a decision. That's what I'm going to wait for now. If we break under here, I will consider it, but I've already had one attempt at that and a hard stop in for 10 points. And that's all it was. A small trade with a starter. Happy to lose those, no problem. At the moment, I'm wanting this to come higher. Remember, we expect some degree of this, given the size of the move yesterday and the day before, really. Can we trade range? I mean, you can. You've not got a lot to play with here. If you're trying to trade that range, it is a D-shaped profile right now, but it's you haven't got that much to play with. It's not like the last few days where you had like a D-shaped profile, which is 150 or 200 points. What's my opinion on Take Profit Trader? I love Take Profit Trader, man. They're great. One of the best prop firms. Good deal right now. 40% off, no activation fee. You can use code FlowZone over there if you like them. That'll get you a good deal and it'll help me out. We will get a trade. It's just how many of you are patient enough to let the market come to us. You can't chase it. You can't force it. Once it sets up, we will have another go at a trade. But just be patient, folks. Be okay sitting still. Very important skill. If you can't master this skill, I'm really sorry to say you will never become profitable. You have to master sitting still and watching. Everything just pausing here for a moment. Mag can't get through previous day high right now, but it's not filling its gap either. It's just holding on to this sort of 69 level, 69 teens. Semis are under 140, but no follow through under it. They did break previous day high and then failed, but they're in the midpoint of their range. Today's a D. It is for now. Things will change. Things will change, okay? A reminder, we're only 45 minutes into the day. It's very early still. We're only just 15 minutes into the new 4-hour bar. You know, give it a chance. Alex, tell the chat to hit the likes. Yes, please hit the likes, folks. 2,500 of you here. Once we get to 1,200 likes, we can start doing giveaways as always. Waiting for the Iran news? Maybe. We'll see. Might be waiting a while. Is it already priced in? We'll see. Tell you what he won't do, though. He won't be like a normal, good human being and come and announce it in a press conference with the timing, will he? He'll just do it in a tweet. It's a trader's nightmare. I'll just put it in a social media post. Not like any normal president where we're like, right, we're going to have a press conference about some important information. We just put it in a post and let the news algos go absolutely bonkers. So I think we might get a deal. I've no idea. I'm sure they'll say that they're getting a deal. Whether they actually get a deal or not is another whole thing. I have no idea. I mean, we've been in this position for as long as I can remember this year now. Trump's bragging about the rally. Well, I'm sure he is. What a lot of people fail to understand is the stock market is not the same as the economy. And there are still a lot of people struggling out there. They won't give two you-know-whats about the stock market being up. We're a privileged position where this is what we do for a living. But if you are working in, I don't know, Ralph's or Target or on a farm or something, you don't fucking care if the stock market is up or down. You care whether you can put food on the table for your kids at night. And that's who he's forgetting about. And that's a lot of Americans. Stock market is not a reflection of the economy. A lot of people do not understand that. It's forward-looking. So it doesn't matter what he thinks about this going into midterms. This affects a very small minority. I mean, 90% of the stock market is owned by, very small, probably like 5% of Americans. I'm not interested in short here. No, not right now. We're at point of control, mate. We're not at an extreme. We've left liquidity both sides. We haven't broken down under anything. We keep absorbing everything under 30,000. Like, not interested in doing anything here. There's no edge. Where's my edge here, right? We know that 30,000 number keeps being absorbed. We know that this is this is value area. We know this is point control. We know VWAP's here. We know flow zones are here. We know that there's liquidity resting here. We know that we failed to break down under this. So why would I trade here? What's my entry criteria here? If we're in a range, then I'm trading the midpoint of the range, asking to get hurt. If we're looking for shorts, well, then we're not breaking down under here and we haven't failed broken out of there. So there's nothing here. If I'm looking for longs, then I'm not bidding at the edge of the range and I'm not holding a bid over this. So no, that's not a setup. That would be a random trade. You can flip a coin. It's going to move one of those ways. You're going to be right or you're going to be wrong, but it's not a setup. SpaceX down 9%. Yeah, I mean, it's very simple. SpaceX still has a small float. It's still not profitable. Their earnings beat, but they're still not profitable. And they're talking about this huge AI build out. With what money? That's what you need to ask. With what money? Okay, so how are they going to get that money? Warrants and increasing float size, which means what? Devaluation. So that's the big question right now on SpaceX, and they still haven't had the insiders ready to sell. I think, when do they start selling? 24th, I think it is, or something. We'll see what the market does after then. 120 and 130 are clear pivots on SpaceX. We pushed yesterday, failed on earnings, right? So if they keep selling, measured move is still to 70s. I've got my eyes on all sorts of levels, but like I said, you've got 3+ months until the insiders even start getting fully out. Exactly. It can still have a lot of dilution to pay for all this infrastructure spend. Or we're going to buy Nvidia. Yeah. With what money? With what money? All right. Back to value area low. And I will consider the same kind of setup here if we start to pop and fail. Otherwise, if we go back inside, it would be a fail break again like this. If they reject around here, I'll be interested again. But if they just trade back inside, it's just another fail on the value, and we go back to point of control again. Semis back to New York Open, so they're starting to crack a little bit here. If they don't bid New York Open, they'll be in trouble. And we're still holding 24-hour VWAP here. Watching this carefully now to see if the same traders we had before, if they reject or if they just go straight back inside. Semis bidding New York Open. MAG at previous day high. We'd need to see a rejection there from the MAG. Lots of bids stacked down here from 12s up to 50s, trying to get us back inside of value right now. Here's New York Open. If we get through this, we're going back to the midpoint again, and there'll be no change again. So I'm watching this carefully if they do reject here. That's the New York Open. All right, I've got a feeler on here. Good rejection of New York Open. Needs to stay heavy under previous day high, though. And then again, it will be the same targets as before. We'll go for gap fill down here. This is the target. Better now. Here come the sellers. Let's see if we can wash here and break this low down here. We need to break under this now and give us extension down into this. And this will be my covers if possible. And I will not risk more than previous day, current day open. Come on, let's see if we can wash. In fact, I'm going to move my stop break even. Nice. Let's see if we can extend down here. Now, if you want to cover some opening range, you can, which is 909s. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look for lower prices here. What's the entry? It's this play here. Rejection of New York Open, back under previous day high, selling down, looking for previous day close, previous day value area high. We're now rejecting value from the day, rejecting New York Open, rejecting previous day high. We now have solid entry. We've now trapped and left point of control. We just need to see new lows here, and that will get us down into that. And you would want to see this protect 60s. Here we go. Much better. All right, here's your opening range. Now let's hope we can get down to PDC, down to previous day value area high, and I will be covering down into that. And if we get under that, we can talk about the 700s and 500s, but really this is our target. Neutral zone as well, so we'll respect all of this. All of this will be a target. All of this kind of zone down here where we keep finding bids. Right, all of this will be covers in here, all of that. And then Globex is down here. If we get lucky, we're going to get 800s, and then we can talk about 7s. But at the moment, we're overvalue, so we want to be careful. All right, and you'd want 60s to stay heavy here on a push up. All right, folks. This retest here, you would want 60s to 75s to stay heavy. If they can't stay heavy, you might consider a cut. I would say if they reclaim this, 60s to 75s, then they're going to go straight back to 30,000s. And there is liquidity higher. Again, remember, we still have not swept 30,080, 30,100. All right, here's the New York Open test. Sellers up here at the moment. It looks like they were trying to lift it up to 87s to 90s. I won't sit through that. I'll just cut it and have another go if need be. What's this shelf out up here? Yeah, that's where they're trying to retest. They're trying to retest towards point of control to see if they're still going to sell it from there. All right, out of this now. So only got a little partial off at the opening range, and that's it. Happy to come back in if they roll this over, but very conscious that we still haven't taken low-hanging fruit at the highs. And we left unfinished auctions above as well. All right, MAG starting to get going here. There's the rejection. I'm happy to have another go at this if we stay heavy now. Trying to see if we can feed back into this somehow. We lift and fail in front of previous day high here. I'm interested. A little wiggle on the tape here. Buyers coming in right now. 87 still up there. There's previous day high again. What's MAG doing? Back over PDH and semis bidding opens. I feel so much more confident about shorting this if we'd already taken out the 80s. All right, I'm in here. I want this to stay heavy versus previous day high. I do not want to see value area low be absorbed and VWAP be absorbed here. There is so much liquidity to move higher right now, which is somewhat dangerous. testing this PDH. If they pop PDH, I'll be out. They're sort of testing around at the moment. If this candle lifts up, I'll be out because they're going to come right back up. Okay, better. We need follow through now. Nope, none. All right, they're protecting value. And they're going to make this D shape bigger. Right. Hard stop going in at PDH now. If they pop that, I'm out. Again, it'd be a scratch. The reason I'm not giving it room is because we're absorbing value, and I know if they want to rotate fast higher, they can. Okay, big buyer coming in down here. Hopefully he gets wrecked because he's just market bought the bottoms. Nice. All right, let's see if we can get down to targets now. I'd like value to stay heavy now if possible. Another huge buyer at these lows. I'd imagine these guys get punished. It'd be pretty shit if they don't because they're just hammering in market buys down here. It's a little imbalance up to 44s here if they want to go and fill it quickly. I think we're going to go move lower now. Here we go. Come on. Let's get all the way down now. Let's stop fucking about, market. Oh my God. Can you get out the way? Good. Good. It's coming now. Those buyers just got caught at value area low. Come on. Right. I'm looking for covers down here, folks. Gap fill. So I'm looking for covers everywhere from 80 down to 44, and I'll try and hold runners beyond that for breaks lower. There we go. So we're coming into targets here. Come on. Some big buying down here. Get through them all. Initial balance now set as well, folks. Be aware of that. Beautiful. All right. TPing some out into this now. This is gamma. We've got PDC below, and then below that 36s. So in here, please be covering a good chunk of your money. After that, we can think about Globex low, and we can think about then the move back to 700, but be covering here, okay? It's still technically counter trend here, but when we start breaking H1 lows, it will shift into a more meaningful pullback. It's a real shame that they didn't take out that low-hanging fruit high here because I haven't sized up because we left it. In typical NQ fashion, we left this liquidity sat there. All right, almost into gap fill here. Let's just check. Q's filled the gap. Be careful. All right, the cash market filled the gap here. So we're very close to filling the gap. Q's filled the gap. Might see a reaction here. Q's now under that gap. Let's see if we can keep melting. And the next target is 840. And then after 840, we're looking for 800s basically. And after that, we're going to look for 7s on runners. All right, gap now filled. And we're now looking for 840s. Really nice. Come on. Now get ready to be out a good chunk of your change here. If they want to protect yesterday's value, then they're going to do a dance around here. All right. If they're going to protect yesterday's value, this will be the move to be higher. And it might be something like this. And then we get the runner down to here if we're lucky. But expect a reaction in here. All right. Previous day close, previous day value area high, current week. What is that? It can't be current week. What the fuck is that? Check that in a minute. And Globex. We're not at previous day point of control. We're not, mate. We're at previous day value area high. Previous day point of control is right down here. 520s. I'm going to check that on Ninja as well. Oh, it shifted. Oh, well, that's right. You are, in fact, right. Well, I put these in last night, so they've shifted them. Fucking hell, mate. Let me check this. How the fuck is that shifted? I even double checked it this morning. You are indeed correct, my friend. I would not have seen that had you not said it, which means this has been wrong for today. Well, that's fairly annoying. Appreciate you letting me know that. I would have had that in wrong. Thank you, kind sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you, kind sir. Whoever that was. All right, there's your reaction. Also, these have been way off. That's so odd. Team effort, yes. I appreciate you. All right, we're still short side in this. We'll see if we reject initial balance and want to break lower, but we're out like a good chunk of our change here, right? But we're still short side in it. It's a good IB rejection there. If we can trade new lows here, it's a very good sign. If we're coming back inside initial balance, they're going to trade up to value, and I will be done with it then. But not bad here. Not bad here. We had 2 attempts. We were short here, stopped back out, and then got back in for the same trade. And there's the move. All right, so you're up about 100 points here. If we get runners to go, it'll be a 200 pointer. It'll be over 200 points. All right, MAG coming back up to a previous day high. Let's see if they reject that or not. We would very much like this to start moving lower here. It doesn't want to do it. They are protecting. They are protecting. And I tell you what, the node is pretty big now, from 950 to 840. That's a big, big high volume node on the current week now. Still sat in this, trying to see if a runner will go for us here. Yes, reapproaching low of day. Love to get a 700 test. I would absolutely love to get a 700 test down here. All this liquidity. What's this H1 wick? 764. Be aware of that as well as the edge. That's the low volume node. So maybe that's where we can come into 764 if we get lucky. Like I said, you want to be out a good chunk. Legend. Thank you, darling. All right, failing to break lower here for the first time. So they might come and retest 930s and view up here. I'm still sat in it, trying to let it work. I'm trying to let this work to come back down towards these Globex lows, the orange line on your screen, and then 760 and 700s. I'm trying to let it work for that move. We are at PDC. We are at previous day point of control. Thanks to one of you pointing that out. Appreciate you. And we are at the neutral zone for gamma. All right, but if we get lucky, we can come into these next levels below. It's what I'm trying to hold for. Here we go. So next TP is down here, folks, and then in this grey box. I'll mark out 60s because it looks important here. There is an LVN there. So this is the H1 wick. Let's just put this in blue. Need mags to get heavy? We don't actually need them to get heavy. It would be nice, but if they just stay where they are now and semis keep selling, we will keep selling by the looks of it. All right, as long as we don't rotate into mags with semis selling, that will cause this trade to like stop, right? But at the moment we look good. We're very, very good in here. Remember, we're short from up here, and we're looking for this rotation. If we can get down into here, it'd be great. It's retempt to reclaim PDC here. Hopefully they reject this. There was some good selling down there at 50s, which got absorbed. So hopefully we don't start moving back up from here after this break. I'd like to just walk this down if possible. Absorption at these lows, delta divergence at the lows. Be aware of that. We've got some buyers on the tape down here trying to hold. Come on. Come on. So we're looking at the moment for this next, and then this, and then this. And that's my ultimate out today, 700. I don't think we're coming 500s today. Let me just check what's down there gamma-wise. Maybe we do. Maybe we get lucky here, folks. Maybe we get this full move, which would be a 400-point move. We're not going to bank on it, right? If we do get there, it would be with very small size. But we'll just go one at a time. So we're going to go for orange line, blue line, grey box, and then all the way down to fives. All right, so this is the next target, this orange line. That's still like 150 plus points. Good job. Come on, market. Let's come and fill some down into Globix for us. And the H1 flow zones are down here as well. So it wouldn't surprise me to see a bid here. Ideally, we take out all these H1 wicks. What I'm watching here. Right, as we take these guys out. I would have preferred, what I was looking for this morning was a break over these and a failure. All right, the A plus setup would have been this. All right, that would have been the A plus. We didn't quite get it. We're at like a B setup at the moment, unfortunately, because we still left low hanging fruit higher, which means I do think we will come down to one of these in the next few sessions. Right, maybe it's something like this and come back for that. All right, I think we've just added more shorts in there for a fuel to come back, but probably not today. Could be today, or probably later session in this week or next week. And also, if we think about weekly model, those who've done the course, think about what this morning's done versus previous day's high. What might be possible now. All right, more absorption down there again. Still sat in this at the moment, trying to let it work. Should you add some more here? I wouldn't. I wouldn't right now. We're very close to like some key levels here. 96s and 63s. I wouldn't add into that. I'd let it break below and then prove to you that it can stay heavy underneath if you want to add more size. Otherwise, all you're doing is lowering your core basis before we've hit a major level. And if they turn around from that, you're going to be upset. Coming for a backfill here. Qs, I'd watch 724 here on the backfill. Spiders back up to IB. It can drift just over IB, but there or thereabouts for a backfill if it gets through that 75. Mag's found a bid. All right, and it looks like Mag's going to come for VWAP. So it's found a bid over a previous day high. So this is what we've got to be careful of. Mag's still holding. We want Mag to stay flat or be negative. We don't want Mag to find this bid. IGV's pulling back. Semis are looking really good to the downside. And I've got to move this up for you. Semis looking good. It'd be nice if we stop going into rotation for a moment here and see the Mag reject. That would help us a lot. Or at least just stay flat. If Mag can just stay flat and let semis bleed, that would be good. But if semis are going to find the bid here off 120, come back to that New York Open and opening range, all right, which look like they're going to try and do at the moment. So they've undercut. They've come into 120. They're going to find a bid up to, 130. They're going to find a bid up towards 34 to 36s, and they will need to reject that on semis. If they reclaim that, it will be a problem for any more downside. Why are we hoping semis go down? Why do you think? Is that a real question? Why would we be hoping semis continue to bleed? Why do you think we would hope semis continue to bleed? Every day. More absorption down here from buyers. All right, we are seeing more and more absorption down here from buyers right now. All right, here comes the back test on ES, which just failed so far, and SPY. So far, first reaction of IB is to move away from it. Come on! They're doing a good job of absorbing down here, these buyers. Ideally, we just break lower. Otherwise, we might need to backfill before we break lower. We might need a big push up before we break any lower today. All right, SPY and ES back to IBH again. Come on! There's lots of buyers down here. Just give me my fill. Get down to 28. 29.8. Just get me down here. Let me get a bit more size off. Here come the bids. They're starting to walk in there and they're trying to lift for a bigger backfill. All right, watch Mag here. Be very, very careful. It's going to lift back up, trying to attempt to VWAP here on the Mag. And ES is at IB low. It needs a rejection here. Big seller coming in here. He's an idiot. This thing will probably lift up now because of him. What are you fucking doing selling like that there, you absolute clown? There you go. What an idiot. All right, we'll see now. I'm trying to hold runners for breaks. I've paid myself a good chunk of change. We'll see now if there's any form of backfill which gets sold into. More big selling here. These guys are going to get punished. What are you idiots doing down here? What are you doing? Someone's just come flying in, marketing in sales here. We want to see the opposite of that. That's better. Buyer came in there and got a little bit caught. They're trying to bid 62s here. I'm watching to see if we trade a little lift up into here and stuff it. Any move above this, no more shorts. But if we lift in here, especially if we come up here and then stuff it, I'm looking for that. If we lift in here and hold, no more shorts. You're expecting a rotation then at that point. And we did just hit previous day point of control, so they can come back test this. I'm not going to play for that back test. All right, I need to see this be sold into, or I'm done with this trade. All right, semi's coming back up to IB low here as well, as we mentioned. So this would be key. I would say New York open to IB low here on semis. You need to see a reaction. If we don't see a reaction, they trade through it. Probably gives more validity to a rotation back inside after holding point of control. Okay, we need an aggressive push and then see it get slammed. That's what we need to see. Here we go. Push, 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 push. And then we see if they slam the door. Now the buyers are stuck at 27 and 32s all the way up here. Basically 27s here into this pivot. So the buyers are stuck basically at value area low. That must stay heavy. Right, there's a big buyer coming in at IB low, which is a good sign. And we've not got through it. Back to test him again. Mag coming for VWAP, like we mentioned. Semis at IB low, like we mentioned. We need to see this stuff here, otherwise we're done with the trade. Or I'm willing to look at it here up to value area low. But we need to see reaction. If there's no reaction, then there's a good reaction. That's a good start. Now, can we move back under PDC, or are we going to do the little inverted and push higher? We did have a buyer come in there and get caught. Considering this little imbalance here, I just want to see, do we pop and fail? More sellers coming in at these lows. That's in front of PDC again, getting absorbed for now. Good rejection of initial balance on semis, like we mentioned. This is lining up pretty well right now. This is looking good. That's what I'd want to see. Push up, fail, buyer caught, reaction of initial balance on semis. This is looking really good now. I think we might get the move here. This is exactly what we wanted to see. We do not want to see this keep absorbing 50s though. We want 50s to break and then move to 30s and then flush. And if I can get some more size in here and we start to agree with this, I will. Yeah, it's the 50s break, the move to 30s coming. Beautiful. And hopefully we can get these moves now. This is really good. So exactly what we talked about. We want pushes into this to fail. All right, big buy got stuck here. We're coming back under this. We want 50s to fail now to take out 30s to get the drive. If we measure this out, as long as they stop being silly buggers with it, we should get the move. Yeah, we got good confluence for a move down here. So hopefully they can stuff pushes now. Looks good. Here we go. Let's go, baby. New lower day here. Remember, we're looking orange line, then blue line, then grey box. Really nice trading day today. Back to normal conditions, it seems. Great rejection off VWAP on MAG as well. New lower day coming here on semis, possibly. Everything lining up exactly as we just talked about before it happens. The key with what I try and do for you guys, it's not about predicting it. It's more about telling you what I'm looking for to happen, what I think the market might want to do, and if we see it, what we're going to then look to execute. What we just need now is semis to flush lower day, and we would like any pop up to 63s to be sold into. Here comes semis into lower day, and we'd like mag to come back under previous day high now. Here's new lows, folks. Let's fucking go. TP's here. Ooh-hoo-hoo! Get out my fucking way today, market. All right, next job. We're looking for 750s, 759s next. Let's go. What a beauty. What a fucking beauty. I'm going to measure out initial balance now to see what we might get for downside. This is IB high, right? Oh, looks good. Grey box looks good. All right, so we're in that. We've done the extension. If we're going to do the 100% move, we're going to get the 720 grey box. All right, if we're going to get the 100% move, we're going to get this 720 grey box. So should have paid yourself a shit ton. Huge buyers coming in here. They will probably be punished in a moment. We'll see. What's the excess like at the lows? Not too bad. Someone's willing to bid this on the turnaround. We'll see. It's a very aggressive bid on the turnaround. Very, very aggressive. So we did find sellers caught at 95s and under, and then the bid came back in at 800, and they have just absolutely slammed that. Made 1,100. First time watching you, brother. Thank you. You are welcome. You're absolutely welcome. Thanks for joining the stream. I will tell you now, if we don't move under 800 here, then we're going to see bigger relief. All right, because we've had a huge bid come in there. If we move under 800, the buyers will get punished. But if we hold 800 here, we will see bigger relief because they just went absolutely turbo buying this on the turn on Delta. If we hold 800 here, I'm out on the runner. I don't care. There is liquidity lower for it to search for, but just what I've seen on the tape there. All right, I'm out. I'm done with that. Just from what I've seen on the tape, and I'm going to show you. We put in some excess. Their selling came in here at 96s. We turned around on Delta, and these huge buys came in, and that's the 800 now. If we hold the 800 print, they're going to do relief all the way back up. Now, I might be wrong, all right, and it might be that we keep selling, but that is not a bad auction at the lows and a hold of 8s. Now, if you let go of 8s, you're going to get a deeper wash. You can see it's a big level right now, right? It's a big level. I don't mind getting back in, but I didn't want to give too much back if they hold this. VIX gone insane? It has gone insane. Well, what did we talk about pre-market on the VIX? All right, what did we talk about pre-market on the VIX? And I've said it. This pattern here on the VIX, this pattern here on the VIX, right, you'll see it time and time again. Learn to look out for this pattern. You see this, and then the wash, and we get walk down, walk down, walk down, pinch. Look, walk down, walk down, walk down, walk down, pinch. Walk down, walk down, walk down, pinch. Walk down, walk down, walk down, pinch. Okay, that was a pinch. Said it. It's been very dangerous the whole time. It's been very, very dangerous. Yesterday was a prime example. You do not want to see what happened yesterday in the market. It's very dangerous to have the VIX walk up. Look at this 800 hold, right? Just from reading the tape. Now, you can still reject 660s here. I'm out of this now because I saw that hold down there. Look at that, just from reading the tape. I'd like to see you fucking unicorn riders do that and understand what happened like that quick enough. Hey, that's very kind of you. Thank you for the coffee tip there, my friend. Thank you for the coffee tip. Oh, it's amazing, Steve, isn't it? It's amazing. I can't remember many days like yesterday. I was talking to my old man about it last night. I was like, I don't remember many days like yesterday. Grind up days, 100%. 1,000-point days, 100%. Seen them before. Grind up days with no pullback for 1,000 points, with the VIX moving higher, with the inflation reports, with the rotation between them all. I don't think I've ever seen that. I've been concerned about that move for a long time. I've talked about it in some of the newsletters where it's like, I think if they're very, very smart, all right, they can keep doing this where they sell one, bid the other, right, and hold the market and hold the market and hold the market. It wasn't until, look where the sell came today. It wasn't until semis sold and the mag sold and IGV. Let's look at this. Basically 1050 is where the sell just started, right? The aggressive sell right here on that repop in, right? That's the first time we had alignment on the resell. Right, so they backfilled 60s here. You can still move lower now that if they backfill that and stay heavy, but I will tell you now that 800's a flipping huge level today. And the delta down there, I'm going to go and have a look at it for you. 239 lot buy side at 801 and 164 lot buy side at 800. Once you move on under 800, you're going to have some big buyers stuck. But right now, they are absolutely protecting it. And like I said, I'm flat. My best cover was here. All right, so we got 152 points out of that. We never got any more. Now, if it's going to come further, it's going to come here today. But this is the trade. I'm going to let this just like figure itself out. Can I show you the delta at 800? I mean, I just did. It's here. Look at this spike. Huge delta spike. So you had a 200 lot come in and another 150 lot under him with all the selling absorbed. So what happened on a lower time frame is we went down, we pivoted. The delta on a 1 minute went from 450 negative to 500 positive like that. Bang! They went down like that. Nope, no more. We're going back up for relief. Okay, and it doesn't mean that's low of day, but it's definitely noting that, hey, you've swept Globex. We don't really want to move lower than this. There's an LVN down here. If we think about it on the H1, right, this has just been protected, right? This here, all right? So they did an internal sweep. They haven't done an external sweep because it's, technically speaking, I'd say this made this, this made this. It's a sweep and not a close. Can we move lower? Absolutely, we can. Can we come back up here? Absolutely. We left low-hanging fruit, which is why we're slightly more cautious today. The low-hanging fruit that we've left is this high here from Monday the 6th. A better short today would have been a break of that, a failure, and then the sell. Then we've got no reason to come higher. Right. Chilling for a minute. Chilling like a villain for a minute. It was a good trade. I want to just observe market for a minute. There's a big swipe up and failure on VIX there. Let's have a look. I thought I saw a comment from Hegseth, but I can't see it now. Maybe not. Maybe I made it up in my head. Alex, I wonder if the sweep in the high 30s to 80s before retesting 800. 30s to 80s. Oh, these? Very possible. We might not come down here again. It's also possible we don't come down here again. All right. We've swept Globex. We didn't take this H1. All right. We're back inside of previous day's point of control. A full rotation would have had to mean down here. I'm not ruling that out, but like it's very possible today, right, that they come and do this. This is the area where we're interested in. If buyers reclaim that, we go back into D-shaped profile, right? We'll see. We can watch how we react here, but if they reclaim, don't rule that out. Don't rule it out. But if they don't reclaim, yeah, maybe that swipe of these is what you're talking about before moving lower. Maybe. All I know is that that out just saved me 80 points on the runner. Right? Just saved me 80 points on the runner. What's Globex overnight session? JD. Maybe you might be right, buddy. If we fucking hold it today and do another 1,000 point tomorrow, you might be right. Oh, I love you, old timers in here. It's been in a while. It's good to have a giggle with you all. Coffee tea time. You've done it again for me. Might be the best trading day ever. Actually taking trades on my own. Better at understanding value. Hey, high five that. Nice work. Nice work, mate. Alex, is there a way to make it so only people who liked can win? Oh, I'll have to have a look at that. I've never thought of that. It's a great idea. Is it possible we go back up and sweep, then move lower in PM session? Man, anything's possible. I'm not going to get into predictions of the market. Anything is possible. No doubt about it. If we have a look on the broader market right now, all right, ES making its way lower. Okay, also did the same move. There's its Globex low. It still hasn't filled its gap, so ES has gap fill available for it. If we come down to the MAG, all right, just stuck at previous day high. Like I said, we can sell without the MAG moving lower if semis stay weak, as long as the MAG didn't reclaim this. All right. So MAG holding PDH still isn't gap filled, all right, but starting to try and find a bid around PDH, but there's no strength in the MAG until we get over these pivots on the VWAP. All right, semis. All right, while the MAG was holding up at previous day high, which was up here, semis, all right, failed the initial balance. Remember we talked about here, we might need a back test of IB. There's the back test of IB. There's the failure. There's the 130. If we lose 130s, we go back into neutral zone, and then we can start making our way back down to this. If we just zoom out, all right, let's just do it to 5 minutes. We can see sideways. All right, you can see the importance of this shelf here. We start to lose this. This is the thin action. All right, so they can find a bid in here if it's a fake out, but if we stay heavy versus 30s and move back to 20s, is more than possible. It's more than possible. Now, if the semis do that, as long as the MAG doesn't print, all right, what we're saying is if semis do this, as long as MAG doesn't do this, all right, MAG can do this and MAG can do this, and we can see a sell in unison. All right, IGV's probably got a little way to come in given the size of the move the last few days. All right, back into after hours low, and I'd say IGV will look to see if it can hold a bid here. All right, 24-hour VWAP. If it loses that, back to the 100 level. But as I always say, what do I know? Just an almost 41-year-old with more and more grey hairs. It's scary. Jesus, brushed my hair yesterday. I was like, fucking hell, I want to shave all of this off. The grey's coming. It's coming, and it's coming fast. Choppy market today. I'd say this morning was in here, yeah. But like once we see this and this, all right, you just leave it, don't you? Wait for the break lower. Okay, short, stop out, nice rejection, back short again, hard stop here. Start moving away, move our stop down, and low hanging fruit. Okay, great. Do you remember what I said in here? And everyone was like, we're not in a trade, we got to do this, we got to do that. Fucking dopamine addicts. Right? You're dopamine addicts. Trading is not going to reward being a dopamine addict. It is going to reward you understanding when we move away from this, a trade will set up. That's what we have to remember. When we move away from this, a trade will set up. We moved away We back tested it. There's the trade. Okay, done. Thanks very much. That is trading in a nutshell. Like I said to you this morning, if you can't sit still, all right, you're going to miss the action when it comes. We had 2 attempts at it. We had one here, made some money, break even. We had the same attempt, worked out, and I think we had one, might have been one of these. I can't remember. It might have been one of these, right? Which was a stop out for 10 points. Can you see how they're all the same trade? Do we move? Do we move? Now we move. All right, it's the same setup, guys. All right, it's the same level. I'm playing these guys being in pain. It's the same setup. 2 worked, 1 didn't. That's it. Exactly, no bad days. It's well said. Easier said than done, but well said. Yeah, weekly levels do retain relevance for the rest of the week. I mean, we've come the levels from newsletter, and I don't think me or anyone else thought we'd come up this high this week. Let me have a look. What was the top side on the newsletter this week? We've gone far beyond it. Far, far, far beyond it. All right, here we come. Back inside, testing these key levels now. Bullish scenario. 29.3 was what I thought was top extension this week. We're well above all of it. I mean, that was the naked point control. Really did not think we'd break over that. Neither did any of the options players. If we look at end of week now, which would be what? Let me get the date right. August 7th. We've got a new call we'll put in of 30,340. 30,400 possible for end of week currently. 30,545 is also edge of range. So, I mean, I'm not ruling that out end of week now. Things shift, you know. We went way beyond what we thought possible. For today, you can see this 925 is a big level. More and more volume is picking up in here right now. All right, so this is for this move or this back to neutral point. Over 925, 130 is possible. I don't think we tagged that this morning, did we? We didn't get up there. I think it was in line with where I wanted to think about the failure. Yes, that's still up there as well. But there is more volumes actually built now intraday into these 925. So 925 is a big level now. This guy up here. It's a big level. Potential downside today. 963 true range. What did we have before that? It would be way too big. 9400 pre-market. 9350s. So yeah, I don't think that happens. It ain't no. It would have to be a serious sentiment shift to get that. It's because yesterday's range was so big. What's my strategy? Close my eyes and just like spam the orders and just hope that something hits. It's basically all I do here. Yeah, and then look for a unicorn. And then look for a little leprechaun next to the unicorn with a pot of gold, and then I jump on the unicorn and I ride it, chasing the leprechaun. That's the main strategy that I do. I call it the leprechaun rider. Is that what you do? Yeah. Sick strategy, man. So much edge. In all seriousness, my strategy is to follow the higher time frame where possible, watching for where higher time frame players will be, and then try and join in with them when they're ready to start playing, using lower time frame trap traders and participants for my entries, right? Which is what we saw today. Right, so today we were looking, there was 2 trades on the tape today. Ideally, we would have popped this and then failed, and then come back in TP1, TP2, TP3, and if you get very lucky all the way down here, TP4, or it would have been a breakout, a pullback, and a hold to go higher up here, right? This is what we got. We got the sell. Unfortunately, didn't sweep, so it never became A+, but it was a B+ setup, all right? And we were short once we left intraday trap buyers. Everyone who was like too impatient trying to buy this for this move, they got stuck. That was the confirmation of them getting stuck, and now we're moving lower. And the reason I got out here is we've swept and we have had some big buying delta come in here at these lows. Doesn't mean we can't move lower. I've just made good money on that trade, and we have now not swept up here. We've just rejected again up here. So I think we can build out liquidity here for a while and wait for some form of alignment to take place. MAG is starting to sell. MAG is starting to sell. All right. They just... Can we remove drawings? All right, MAG's just starting to sell. It's coming back down today's lows here. It's why we just got this bit of weakness come in. And they are starting to try and bid the semis with it. So the rotation started again. Alex, I need to get into the market now. Which direction? None. You don't need to do anything. Don't do it. Do not do it. And you can see at the moment that buyers are absorbing LVN. Sellers are absorbing LVN. Here's your next distribution. Right above this, buyers could take control. Below this, sellers will try and take control back to 800, and then you're looking for extensions. But at the moment, I wouldn't be participating here. It's the same as here. All right. Let it leave and prove itself. Let it leave and prove itself. Unless you're already short. If you're short from here, how many of you are still short and willing to sit in this? Maybe some of you are still short and you're looking for these moves here, which is fine. Oh, it's absolutely fine. We haven't invalidated anything. I just didn't want to give 100 points back on a runner. Here goes MAG, lower day. MAG starting to let go here. Now, if we reject this now, I'm interested again. Remember, at the lows, we have some big buyers. Once we move under them, they will get stopped out. If we reject this, I'm interested again. Back into their level at 800s. All right, this is where they are big size. We come under them, they're going to get really hurt because there's a lot of delta there to sell. All right, MAG's just moved into its gamma level of 69. It's still yet to close a gap. I will watch here on any pushback that sells into sort of 40s. Where was this? 22s, imbalance into 30s. If we pop back up there, see how we're still protecting 800s. If we pop up there and sell, I'm vaguely interested. You can see that 800 level is very strong. All right, I'm watching this. If they sell this into this move, I will consider it. If we reclaim the shelf, there's nothing to do. Can you come up a bit further, please, and fill the imbalance at 30s? You got 2 runners still. Nice, mate. Nice, mate. Well, I think it looks like it's going to work out here for you. Once you break 800, there's potential for a pretty nasty snap. I'd say 800 down to 94s. If those buyers get liquidated, that's going to be well over almost 400 delta that becomes a seller in the market. They've just market heavy buy here again. There's a lot of buyers down here to get liquidated if they can move lower. There are a lot of buyers down here that can get liquidated. New lows on ES, new lows on MAGS. MAG's going to fill the gap. This thing should let go now. This thing should let go now. Here it goes. There you go. Beautiful. Nice work, folks. All right, into your next TP, which is the blue line. Unfortunately, I couldn't get filled there. Your blue line and then your grey box next. There you go. Reaction off the blue line. Oh, I wish I was in that with you. Just couldn't get the fill on the lift up to 30s. So hopefully you got some TP out. You can still hold some more, but that was your next TP, was that blue line. Once you liquidate that blue line, there is a low volume node there, and it takes you down to the grey box. So here is an LVN from yesterday. All right, here. This is why they're gonna try and support the bid here. Once we get under that, you're thinking about this. We shorting pops? I'm not, because I've missed it. It's happened. It's gone. So we can watch this return in, but like now you have to think about what's happened. Well, we've hit low hanging fruit. MAG's just filled its gap. Qs have already filled their gap. Spiders just filled their gap. ES just filled their gap. So what are we playing lower for? Getting in short here is a difference now, right? If we had got a fill here, right, nothing had filled the gap yet. We hadn't tagged this, right? Have a look on the broader market. If we'd filled before it happened, right, MAGS just filled its gap, okay? ES just filled its gap. SPY just filled its gap. All right, and we're back above the 800. So I'm less interested now because the moves happened, right? We've done it. It doesn't mean it can't move lower, but it's all about that low-hanging fruit being the high probability trade. And we're back above the 800s, right? So you just got that move. It just came and went. And again, today, they can't sweep any liquidity before they move lower. But this was the move. Look, this is it. You just hit it. So that's happened. Now, can they continue selling? They can, but you're back above the 800 now. So unless that they might have fully liquidated, we'll see. There was a rebid at 73s. We're very thin under 800. There's very aggressive selling starting to come in here at 22s. And if they don't get their way, you're going to get a lift back up again. And there's Delta Dot. I think the lift's going to come soon. I think the lift back into value is going to come soon because that's also 3 drives, right? And you've tried numerous attempts to break lower here. 1. Oh my God. Oh my God. Can you give me a drawing tool? 1, 2, 3. Remember, 800 was the level. That's the swipe of them. That's the H1. I'm surprised we haven't broken that, but I think this is available. I still think this trade here can come later. So I don't want to re-enter short here personally. I'm not going to enter long, but I don't want to re-enter short because the trade's gone. How's the gamma? You're in neutral gamma. See this here? You are in neutral gamma here. Just an ordinary day. Here. We're in negative gamma under this, and we're in positive gamma under this. Over this, we're in neutral gamma here. Same on ES. Exactly, went to the TP and bounced. It did indeed. I mean, it's understanding what that is. Again, hourly charts. Where's the low volume node? Here. What did we do last time we came there? We wicked. Okay, so we know when we come there, we know it's good demand down there. We've come there again. There's buyers hanging out here at the moment. Now, if the buyers in here can't hold price, then it's a full rotation. I don't think we get that today. I really don't. And if we think about it, I wonder where we are versus yesterday's value. Are we 50%? pretty much 50% pullback of yesterday's value as well. So I think if they're going to hold it, they probably need to step in soon. It really depends what the mag want to do here. What holds more weight? A large trapped at the high or low, or large delta trapped at the high or low? It's the same thing, mate. A large lot trapped will be delta. You won't get, it's very unlikely you get a large passive player trapped, but obviously large delta better, but you will always get the same at the high or low. You will almost always get the same at a good high or low. It would be better. I see what you're saying. Like, you mean like right now? I get what you're saying. You mean like right now with these like sellers down here who have passively bought, right? And they're smaller, or this guy. We'd rather this was, if this was the end of auction, we'd much rather that this was a big sell. If that's what you mean, we'd much rather this was a big sell. If we look at the high of the day, we'd much rather this was a big buy. These are not the best auctions of the day. But yeah, I mean, if we were going to look for reversal, if this was all sell side, all these delta bubbles, if this was all sell side and we're pivoting over, it'd be good. But you can see, if we think about this buyer that we talked about before, it's the same level. Right, we're going to talk about 800s. Another big guy came in at 73s. Delta's starting to try and push and flip here. Once we break above this, I think there's relief. I do think there's relief coming. That's a big heavy sell delta here, and we didn't close that heavy. If you think about it, almost minus 500. We actually closed almost flat. So any pullback which starts to hold 800, I'd be concerned as a short seller at this point. If they hold 800, that is. Same as before. If they get under 800, things change again. They are still walking it down. There is still, I don't think we swept. Did we sweep that H1? I'm going to have to just have a real hard look here. We didn't actually sweep it. We tagged it. That tight. No, we're not in negative gamma. We're neutral. Negative transition, but not negative gamma. We don't get negative until we get under this, technically speaking. So we've moved from positive, zero line, neutral, negative. Yeah? You'll know if it goes negative because the moves will be much, much bigger. All right, mag retesting PDC here. We're about to retest that 800 level. I do wonder if they continue to bid this and be rewarded for it or not. Semi still holding on. Mag coming back down to PDC. They're starting to absorb down here again. This is what I was talking about. I think that might be the end of it today. We'll see. If they keep holding 800, that will be the end of it. A lot's going to depend on this Mag 7 here. I'm not saying bid it. I'm more saying for you guys who are short side, if you cannot break below 800, and certainly if you do break below, you want to watch that 72 again. If you can't break below 800, I'll be concerned about big relief coming here. Here you go. They've just held it again. It's a massive level here, folks. It's not massive because it's a whole number. I mean, that helps. It's more about the amount of buying activity which is happening there without us moving under it. We should be moving under that for sellers to take control. You can see here, even on this most recent 5-minute, this is the level. All right, all this selling keeps coming in, being absorbed, selling coming in, being absorbed, selling coming in, being absorbed. You break under this, you got a chance to attack low of day again. But they keep coming in here. Big seller coming in here. This is better. This is more interesting now of what happens. We can watch this together here. This is more interesting now on what happens in this area, whether these buyers come back in and defend. So I'll be watching this seller now at 804s. If we pivot back above him and get stuck. Mag's approaching a new lower day here, potentially, if they break. They're right there. They're right on it. So this is all about the mag right now. Semis are holding up okay, going nowhere. So semis have gone flat for the last, I don't know, 30 minutes, maybe longer. Mags are at lower day. And we will make a decision here. Bit of absorption there again. The battle. Here comes the attempt of the squeeze. It is a battle here. It's a big battle here. All right, lower day break on mag and then turning back upside. If they get back above PDC, that would be a fail break. If they stay heavy versus PDC, they can keep trying to move lower. This is all about the mag 7 right now. That's what it's about. All right, new lows on mag. Semis trying to break upside. Rotation here. They're selling mag into semis. $800's held again. That's selling out again, caught at 804. So I'd be watching him. If he starts to get caught and not get his way, they can relieve up to 30s here. And if they go through the 30s, they're going to relieve to 42s. And if they go through that, they're going to go to 63s. That's what I'm saying. If you can't break under 800, I would be done with the shorts here, folks, because relief is very much viable here if they keep holding it, because we are starting to see compression. We've gone from bigger moves to smaller and smaller, smaller, failed to break. If they hold this, this suddenly becomes very, very possible. Here it goes. So here's the move to 40s like we just talked about. And I wouldn't be surprised to see this really start lifting now, folks, because it held the 800. So hopefully that makes sense. This is the imbalance filled into 42s. This is what we just talked about. If they get through here, they're going to go to 62s to 63s. And if they get through that, they will try and lift to that low volume node and take out all the stops. There you go. Here it comes. There's the move into the 62s. And if they get through this, they will try and get to the top side through the 55s into the low volume node. So if you did bid 800, you want to be peeling some off here and then be done with it. Move your stop break even, sorry, and then be done with it as we transfer into the LVN. So I'd say this is your compression. This is your fail break lower. All right, this is your TP1. This is your TP2 in here. All right, and if you get through that for the day, you're asking a lot, but if you do, that'd be your final target for the day up there. But this is the main target into where you are. Pretty nice, right? It's just reading order flow. That's all that is, right? So what happened? Here are the big buyers. We've gone over it many, many times. All right, they got punished in this move down. As we move back up, someone tried to sell into them. Well, they got absorbed. Once this guy came in and couldn't get follow through, he became the pain point. We're now coming into these sellers. If we get through them, they will stop out. Then what's going to happen? Or at value area low, we're going to come to the thin nodes. We're going to come and test these buyers to see if there's still passive selling in this LVN. which is why I'm saying your TP1 is now into here and your TP2 is into here, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them pop some of these stops and then make a decision. It might be then that they want to move lower, it might be then that they hold the pivot. Check the H1. Yeah, I mean, it's coming to wick. It's doing exactly what we expect. It's why we're saying like TPs are up here. We don't expect more than this unless there's a major pivot. All right, how are we doing on the likes? We've got 30 minutes left. How are we doing here, folks? Hopefully you're learning as we go. Right, there's well over 1,000 of you who've not smashed the thumbs up. Please, can you smash the thumbs up button under the stream right now? And then when I'm back from the bathroom, we will do a giveaway. All right, I will be back shortly. All right, how are we doing on the likes? Nice, we did it. Well done, folks. Oh, it's easier today. Mag breaking down here, new lows. And semis breaking out, coming back into their New York Open. That's your over-under. So you're rotating right now. Mags breaking down, semis bidding. Here you go. Mags breaking down, white line, new lows, semis holding the pivot and trying to bid. So rotation. We're in one of these again. We're in a world where we're going to keep swapping them. All right. So you're not going to get follow through until they go into big directional moves together by the looks of it. Okay. Let's set this up. Right. We will give away an Apex account today. Please don't do it yet, folks. Please, 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 because you're only going to hurt yourself because then you won't get entered. So I've got to leave it now a few minutes for you guys to calm down. If you keep spamming, we just don't do it. Like, it's you guys that lose. I don't understand. We finished? All right. Well, look, we can't do it for a while now. You guys have ruined it. It's on yourselves. It's only on yourselves. You can't use your ears, clearly. Bah! Look at all you wallies. Bah! You hate being called it. That's what you are. You see someone do it. Oh, I'm going to do this because they did it. All right. That's going to work out well for you in life. All right. Semis through New York Open. Mag new lower day. It's a massive divergence here. New lows in the mags. Semis breaking out through the New York Open. Yeah, maybe we will change it today. Maybe we'll change it today. I did just see, I haven't announced it today. Awful partner. My Funded Futures just launched a brand new plan. It does look pretty epic. I'm going to be honest with you. It's rapid end of day. All right. So 50K rapid end of day, $126 right now with code FZT. You get 90% profit split, no activation fee. Can take payouts from the first day. No daily loss limit. Trade up to 3 contracts. The eval, though, is 30% eval. So a bit like take profit. You're going to have to trade 4 days. Profit targets 3K, max drawdown 2K, end of day drawdown, 3 contracts. You can use micros 10-1. Funded rule, max drawdown 2K, end of day drawdown, max position 3 contracts, 90% profit split, daily payouts, minimum payout 500, net profit between payout 500, requirements over buffer. I mean, that's really good. That's a really good one. I'm impressed with that. No consistency rules, mate. Only consistency in the eval, nothing in the funded. So 30% in eval, nothing in the funded. That is very good. Very good. So the new rapid end of days they just launched. Code FZT for that if you're interested in it. What about payouts? Daily payouts, mate. 500 min, daily payouts. You can take daily payouts, keeping 90%. It is limited time, yeah. It does say limited time. It doesn't say when it will end, but it does say it's a limited time only. So I think they're trialing it. Like even Matt put out last night, like we might go broke from this because if very good traders do it and start rinsing us, we'll go negative on it. Max payout. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. See if we can get to FAQs here. Funded account. New rapid plan. No cap. No cap on how much you can request per payout cycle. No cap. Mate. Those are good. Those are good. That's pretty awesome, isn't it? No monthly fee. That's a one-time fee, mate. That's pretty awesome. I'm not even trying to sell. This is the first time I've looked at them as well. I'm not even trying to pitch it, but that's pretty good. What did I say it was? $126. Start challenge. Rapid end of day FCT 100. Let me just check with the code. It applies it properly. Yeah, $125.60 with code FCT. 4-day pass, and then same day. It's end of day. That's the best bit about it. It's not like, because everyone will be like, it's like take profit trader. It's not. There's no trading drawdown. It's end of day. So if you put, right, let's say you just put like 2 contracts on short or 3 contracts on short here, and you let this bleed all day, you don't need to worry about it coming back. On take profit trader, you would fail for that. You would be out of your funded stage until you're past the buffers. End of day, you could just let this bleed all day. That's really, really, really good. That is really good. I'm somewhat impressed by that. That's the first time I've looked at it. Fair play. Fair play, guys. That's a good product. That's a very good product. Yeah, my funded futures is called My Funded Futures Rapid Funded. Just make sure it is called that. Rapid end of day. My Funded Futures Rapid end of day. Just launched today. That's really good. Market's effing about. Well, you have to understand what's going on. All right, there's no follow through. Mag's continuing to sell, and semis are continuing to hold the pivot, and IGV's going nowhere. All right, we're in the washing machine. It's gonna do this until they're ready to go in a pro trend. Right, this is what they do. If you get weakness in semis come, then this thing can come further. But right now, what's the story? What are you holding? You're holding 800, right? The guy at 800, right? You're holding that. Can you come down here? Very possible if semis start selling. At the moment, you're not getting acceptance under 800. You had the squeeze relief to here. That's why I said I'd be TP1 here and TP2 up here. All right. All the time you hold 800, it's okay. They lose 800, they're going to revisit, and then they can really try and drag the market. But it's going to depend on these semiconductors. They're back inside of initial balance right now. All right. So semis look very different right now. Like, all right, there's your IB. Let's get rid of this. It's an old level. All right, semis found relief. If these start coming under and doing this move, market will get heavy. It's very dependent on this right now. So you have to observe this. If we start holding initial balance, we've done IB to VWAP. If we start getting over this, this would be more relief for the market. If semis go backside here, as long as the mags don't suddenly start printing back up, and you do another rotation, which is possible. All right, so you're watching this level here. That's your sentiment right now in the market. All right. Now you guys have calmed down. Let's do the giveaway. Code FZT. Just type it once, please. And we'll give away an Apex account. Mags coming into previous day high. It's a big pivot here into mags. I'm interested what they do with this. Do they suddenly bid the mag and bid the semis at the same time here as we flush back into this old pivot on the mag? I wonder. It would not surprise me in the slightest for this to retrap again. We will see. It will make a decision shortly. What I'm watching, if you zoom out on the mags right now, look where we are. This is key. They lose this, we come back inside range, right? That's yesterday's range. Breakout, retest, hold, back to it. If we lose this, we come all the way down here. Semis are still holding initial balance high. So if the mag bids this and semis start bidding, the market will start lifting. If the mag loses this and semis lose IB, the market will start selling. If one holds and one doesn't, your guess is as good as mine, guys, at that point. Still at that same core level, that same big level, the 800 player. That's where we're at. Like, nothing's changed here. Right, this seller is still stuck because we can't move under him. These buyers are still okay right now. The biggest call ball today on the mag is all the way down at 68, so they'd have to lose this bid on the pivot and continue to sell. They are looking heavier at the moment. They are looking heavier. Semis are still holding. Right, here's the pivot test on the mags. They're into that level. Now, if they find a bid here and semis bid out, I'd be very careful about a squeeze. Yeah, mags are into daily pivot. Exactly, JJ. Exactly that. And look at semis holding and look at the absorption taking place here. And if they start running semis through the New York Open here and the mag bids on this pivot, this thing will lift. It's really dependent what they're willing to do here. Like, I have no interest in playing this because it's just not something I want to look at. Right, let's pull this winner. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pivot vitality. Is it by pivot vitally even? Pivot vitally. Are you here? Pivot. Pivot. It just reminds me of Friends when people say that. Pivot. Show my age. Are you here? If you're not here and you don't say so, oh, it's pilot. Sorry. I thought it said pivot. Pilot vitally. Pilot. Sounded looked like pivot to me on the first look. Thank you for that. Pilot. Yay. Oh, there we go. Change your name to Pivot. Okay, Pilot. Congratulations. Free Apex account on the way to you. Email me, please. info@flowzonetrader.com. Send me a screenshot of you logged into YouTube and I'll sort you out. All right, here's the hold again. Semi's holding again, pushing back up to previous day, current day open. Market just having a little pause here while it figures out what it is it wants to do. Semis starting to look like they're trying to find a little bit of a bid here. Mag semis are pulling back off previous day or current day open, pulling back towards IB. Rotation continuing between these names. There is liquidity lower if it does want to continue and can stay heavy versus 800. But we'll see. I've got no interest in trading this right now. Lost optimum entry and they've started to rotate these names and I'm not interested in getting caught in some horrible rotation. Next levels are the same levels. If you're still holding short, it's this blue line. We still rejected value. It's this blue line and the grey box. And if you got very, very lucky today, you'll come all the way down here. All right, so I'd be like careful of this move, but if you continued lower, you'd be looking for this in the afternoon. But this is just being controlled and walked down, and I'd be very careful that a bid doesn't form around here. It's where one would assume the bid would form. It's that old naked POC there into 29,700-ish. So on an H1. Into here, right? If they hold that, and it's an LVN for the current session, so yeah, the current week session. So we'll see if they lose that, we rotate value. I would find it somewhat unlikely that we rotate the whole of value today. I'm not going to rule it out. It's possible. But given the strength of this move, I would assume they look to do this and come back inside, and then we see what we do tomorrow. I would assume this is like a 3 drive higher, push and fail, come back down. How low can we go? Let's just measure out this. I mean, it is possible. It is possible we get down there. I just think with what they're doing with the rotation, here's Mag finding a bid all of a sudden again. So it's in its RBS zone, the Mag. That's the thing. I wouldn't want to be selling down here personally. The sell was up here where we took it. Ever since then, I've been happy to be chilling. Pops to 800 fail. I mean, again, you just have to understand, why have we just dragged down this, right? There's your Mag 7. What's likely to happen here? It's likely to find a response. Right, there's your RBS zone. Right, so if you're trying to sell lows right now, and this starts to turn around, okay, you're going to be in trouble, especially if this keeps holding this bid. The turnaround, like the sell will happen, like I keep saying, if we come under this and Mags drags. But like, we are in rotation right now between these names. You have to understand that, folks. You have to understand, like, if they go in alignment and they both start letting go, for sure deeper prices. It's very hard to be thinking about that right now. How long you got till lunch? And you got 5 minutes to lunch, guys. That's all you've got. Like, we've got 5 minutes. Huge buying just came in here at the lows. That seems a bit stupid. What are you doing, you lot? You look like you're masochists marketing in like that. They've just gone absolutely turbo down here. That's crazy aggressive from these guys buying down here. All right. Semi's back under IB. Now, if they pop and fail IB, that would be a good signal for you. If Max wants to trade lower. Back into this H1. I would imagine under this, they will try and form a trap if they do it. But if you can hold today, grey box and then all the way down to 5s, there's the break. I'd imagine they will try and trap down here. If I was them, that's what I would do, but it depends what their ambition is with semiconductors right now. A huge amount of buying took place in that last 5-minute candle. There's the H1 sweep. So this blue line's now been swept. I'm going to remove this now. Finally swept it. More huge buying down here. What are these guys doing? What are these guys doing? They're way too early bidding this that aggressively. What are they doing? They're just going to keep getting punished. All right. Semi's starting to really let go now. It's a shame they're like, they do the move and then they start dropping it. All right, grey box. So if you were short, I'd cover a good chunk here. And your next level you can think about. If you get through here, you're thinking about these 520s. But this grey box is massive. Another 300 lot buyer just came flying in here. What are they doing? 2950s is his level. Bizarre. More lows on the mags. So mags really rolling over here. Weakness in the mags is being led by Amazon now, 1.5% down. I would expect a response soon. So I'd move, if you were short at 800s or whatever, I'd move your stop in. Again, I've just taken that first short today, nothing else. This is starting to really bleed. I am somewhat surprised there's not been a response on the rotation, but there we go. Huge buying again. Man, these guys are piling in down here. 178 lot now just bought 740s. Like, they are market buying everything right now. Give me more. I want to buy more and more and more. Something else, mate. All right, back up towards these pivots. There we go. Into these pivots now. And if they squeeze relief here, they're just going to start sending. So what I was saying, I would imagine a trap would be here. They're going to have to reclaim all of this volume, though. But if I was them, I would be trying to trap down here in the grey box and lift, given what Mag's just done. And Semi's just held now. And Semi's now back to our initial balance. And Mag can reclaim now. Lower day auction doesn't look the best. You have some selling caught under 30s, but it's mainly been very, very aggressive buying down here. But just being honest with you, that's what we're seeing. Huge, huge buying down here. Look, massive. If I was them, I'd try and trap and lift inside, but this is not how you trap to lift inside. That's the opposite of how you would trap to lift inside. ES in danger of going neg gamma here. In fact, it is about to go neg gamma, as is SPY, and that will really start to change things. If dealers have to start selling, they need to get back above 771 on SPY, 760. Otherwise, dealers are going to have to start following the move. All right, there's a big seller coming in to this level, 740s. So that's your pivot now. 740s is your over under. If buyers hold that, they can look for upside relief in the short term. If they lose that, selling pressure can resume. Okay, here's the initial balance retest on semiconductors. MAG are getting absolutely hammered here. Fresh low after fresh low. They really don't have much. After here, you would assume they're going to come all the way down to 68 for that call wall, which can really drag this market if they do that. All right, we just retested 740s and held. So that seller is still caught there at 740s and held. End of day, lower day auction doesn't look the best. Like, again, it's like earlier, there's a lot of buying down there. It's not selling caught at the lows. Okay, rejection of initial balance low here so far on semiconductors. MAG continuing to bleed lower. Starting to accelerate now. So Amazon 1.72% down, Google 1.66% down, Meta 1% down, Microsoft 0.75% down. We just held that 40s again. They keep coming into him here. No position for me. Remember, these were my targets. If we were going to move lower today, this was the next target. I'm fully out of this. Grey box, and then all the way down here, if they rotate the whole of previous day's value, you will get this whole move down here. More lows on MAG. They are dumping that thing. Google now 2.72% down. They are what's happened on Goog? 3% down. Something's happened. They don't like it. Some news must have broken. Something's broken on Goog. That's a fucking massive move. Either that or we've just broken a huge technical level. Wow, Goog accelerating away. What's this? Here we go. Google chief scientist is leaving his own is leaving to start his own AI company. There you go. That's the Google news. That thing just got absolutely nuked on that. It got absolutely walloped on that. Wow, this thing's accelerating to the downside. 3.5% down now. Feels like a bit of an overreaction now, I'll be honest. Oh, guys leaving. Guys leave all the time. Guys leave all the time. They just dumped it like 14, 15 points already on that news. All right, back to these 740s. We're into lunch now. I don't think I'm going to trade anything here. I'm interested if they trap for upside relief. I'm definitely not playing short anymore. Missed the short opportunity. This was the short earlier. You should be out most of your position here. Okay, relief starting here. If they hold the bid over 740, we can start bidding this up potentially for a squeeze relief. And we'd be targeting this H1 pivot low, which would be 60s, and then through that up to 90s. We'll see if they can pull back and hold here. Or it's just going to completely fly away. And semis are absolutely ripping. Straight back up to New York Open. This thing's ripping now. Probably Google on a rebound. Yeah, Google on a rebound. Okay, can we find a little relief trade here? That might be it, though. Might have already happened. What's the excess like? Not too bad. If we hold 740s, I'll think about one final trade into lunch here. Only if we hold 740s. We're into imbalances here. They can keep selling this, but we'll see. If they flush down and hold 40s, I'll be interested. Otherwise, I will call it a day. Google's probably got to stop selling for anything to happen. All right, let's see if this comes into 40s and holds or not. And this will make my decision whether I take something into lunch. All right, I'm small long there. I'm not going to give it any room. And we'll see if we can lift back up, ideally towards 800s. I'm basically risking nothing here. This is the H1 pivot. If we get back inside this, we get relief back up towards 800, which is what I'm looking for. Here's go to semis, to the New York Open. Hopefully this can lift with it. We don't want semis to stuff New York Open, and we don't want a new lower day on mags. We want relief. We lose 40s, I'm out. Small size. Out. There we go. So what did I risk there? 5 points. It was worth it. It was worth it. It might still develop into lunch, but that was it. All right. Oh, I'm not going to have another go at this. This might be the Alex trade, but I'm not going to have another go at this if they reclaim. That be it for me, folks. What I'd watch this afternoon, if MAG continues to be weak, I'd watch it down into 68s to see if there's a reaction there. Semis are looking pretty good. So the rotation is starting here. Let's pull this out. All right. There's the rotation. All right. So we went sell, 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 bid IGV, bid socks, sell mag off Google. This is the Google news. Right, the aggressive Google news. I think there's a pivot probably coming soon in some of these for some relief, and it just depends how much they want to rotate it. But that be it for me. Done into lunch. Congrats. How many of you, be honest, how many of you held this short from earlier into this grey box? Right? How many of you held that? And how many of you got down into a holding for further into previous day value area low? So how many of you are up 230 odd points? And how many of you are looking for this full 400-point trade. You did. Boom, big, big. Nice work. You're still in it. Nice work. Still in with half. Nice work. Bought puts on SPY this morning, dated for Friday. Oh, you're up nice then. Seems like an overcorrection to one guy leaving. I mean, yeah, it's now down 4.45%. I mean, it will be, but it's losing technical levels, right? So you got to think when news like that hits and the news algo send it, then what happens is it breaks down through technical levels, and then all the guys who have been bidding then get washed out, right? So if we just zoom this out, that's Google right now. If we go to a 5-minute, all right, you're now breaking many technical levels. All right, so you lose this shelf, you lose this, you lose this, you've lost this, you've lost this, you're coming into this, and this is the huge node that we've been talking about for months and months and months. So I'm quite happy for it to come down here, because the more that can come down, the more interested I am in buying it, to be quite honest. In fact, I might even put some bids out now. Let me just check where we are on a daily on that. 350s. See if we can get a little fill maybe later today. We get just a little relief on that. Okay. Yeah, if we can come a bit lower, I'm going to start bidding it. That's this node here. 52s, point of control 46s. Yeah, because I think there's a trade up here, at least to 68. So there's 10 points in that. There's 10 points in that for sure. All right, team. What I'd watch this afternoon for you guys. I would be expecting some form of bid to be developed down here where we are at the moment for at least a retest of this. If they're adamant on selling everything together this afternoon and we can't reclaim this, this is a major look for lower. All right. So if they retest this and stay heavy, you can sit in your shorts or maybe take a new position looking for the breakdown. That breakdown won't come as one. It would have to be like this. All right. If they fail to break down, you don't want to set a higher low in front of this, and you don't want to sweep and a reclaim in front of this. That would be your outs. All right. So you'd want to be taking partials down here. If we hold this bid down here, all right, and you want to play that long up there, I totally understand. If you break over that, you're looking for relief into this LVN. Those are the plays that will be here this afternoon. Not that different to what we've been looking at all day. At the moment, it's a drift lower. And mags are getting very close to that 68. So I'll be watching that cool wall on mag into 68. And SPY is now negative gamma and can start to accelerate if they start to lose here. Now, we're not negative gamma until we move under all of this. We're in transition, but we can start accelerating if they start losing stuff here. So just, be sensible this afternoon. We're into lunch now. It will start thinning out. And then we'll see what we can get tomorrow. New day tomorrow. What have we got tomorrow morning? jobless claims before the open, and then monthly wholesale trade. And then the big one's going to be NFP on Friday. That's going to be the biggie. The biggity, 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 biggity. All right, folks. You keep saying about this Lucid giveaway. Are we there? We're not there, so it doesn't matter. We missed it. Oh, I'm getting out of here and walking my dog. We'll try again tomorrow. All right, team. Big love. Nice trading work today. Be smart. Be safe. Don't be forcing your way on the market. Watch these 68s as we come into it on the mags. Peace out, everyone. And yeah, use hard stops as always. Take care.